Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Samuel, and today we are talking about some America's Got Talent. We are talking about the final week of semifinals, all of two. Joining me today is my co-host, Eric. How you doing, Eric?
I've been better, but I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just happy that I'm okay, and I'm not going to dwell on the fact that I was in a car accident. But that was yesterday. I'm okay. No one was hurt. Let's start talking about these stupefyingly weird results.
Let's talk about this a little bit. So we have our final group of 11. They compete. 5 acts move on. We have our results. We are going to be going through them as we talk about each contestant. But as a whole, Eric, in my opinion, kind of a step down from an already low standard from last week. Do you agree, Eric?
What'd you say?
I feel like this week was kind of a bit of a step down from what was already like the previous week was a step down.
The previous week was better than this week, definitely. And I don't think we saw the winner this week. Is the weird thing.
I am unsure. I feel like from this episode, there, in my opinion, are 2 people who could win, and from the week before, there are 2 people who could win. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but I feel like watching this episode, for me, what was the biggest headline was what I wrote down in my notes as the beginning of the downfall of Courtney Hadwin. We're going to be talking about her a little bit later on in the show, but Courtney she's the singer, and for the first time, this was not the kind of best performance. I feel like going from the trend of the previous 2 seasons, we had Grace VanderWaal, we had Darcy Lynn. Now it was kind of gearing up to be that Courtney would be that third person kind of filling the trifecta of the trend. But after this week, I don't think so, Eric. Do you?
I still think there's a damn good shot that she wins, but I think it's before this week I would have said it's like a 90% chance that she wins. Now I'll say it's like a 20 to 30% chance.
The thing is Darcy and Grace, who, by the way, like, I feel like if either of those 2 girls were on this season, would probably win again. I just feel like both of those 2 never had a moment like Courtney had this past week. Like, those 2 girls.
Here's my thing. We're going to get to her later, but I thought the first 80% of that performance was great. But I liked it. And then the ending, the last like 20 or 30 seconds were so off that it downgraded the performance like 2 to 3 whole letter grades for me, honestly.
I've never understood Courtney, but like this was the first time when I feel like people are saying, I also didn't get Courtney. And now like finally those voices that were like shushed because of how much press and attention she was getting are finally like coming forward. And they're like, she fits the trend, but I don't think she's worthy. I don't think like Darcy and Grace. I was a little annoyed by how much like pimpage the producers were giving her.
I think Darcy was 100% the best whatever show's ever had.
Top 3 for me of the seasons I've seen, like her, Kenichi, Paul Zerdin, Matt.
I think
kind of,
but
I mean, that's just my opinion. That I feel was the headline of this week. But I feel like we should let's get into these contestants, shall we?
Let's start with the best thing we saw coming from miles away.
Let's talk about, first up, we have Christina Wells. She is a singer. She has the story about how she was in I think it was like for a theme park, or she was trying to audition for something and she didn't get in. I believe it was because of her weight. I think that was her story. But tonight she is performing You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman by Aretha Franklin. And I felt like going into this week, when I saw the lineup and I saw that she was on the same week as Glennis, I felt like this would be the week when these 2 kind of went toe to toe and one of them would advance. I feel like that was one of the things that was hanging over this week. Did you get the same feeling?
100%. And the weird part is I had no idea. I had no doubt in my mind that Glennis was going to win over Christina.
Now here's the question, Eric. Glennis and Christina. Why did Glennis come out on top?
Because Glennis didn't have any bum notes.
Yes, that was kind of the nice way of saying it. Christina seems like a very nice lady. She does her performance, and there's like moments like it's off, and you could hear it.
Some of them were painfully off. Honestly.
Some of them were very painfully off. But the one thing that I can take solace in is that when the performance was over, you could see that she knew it. Like she knew, like that was not what it was supposed to be. But I feel also the fact that she went first. I feel like maybe if she had gone like last, this kind of maybe would have been a different story. Maybe she.
I don't think so. I think if she did that exact same performance last, it wouldn't have made a damn difference.
Yeah,
I feel like honestly, the thing was, as I said from the beginning, first time I saw her, she needed to be absolutely perfect to overcome being so old-fashioned. And she was so far from perfect with this performance that it was a busting we saw coming from miles away.
Do you think it was the song that like did her in? Do you think she needed to do a different song?
I mean, this is the second time she's hit some bum notes for me. So I just don't. I think she needs to work on. I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. It just wasn't good, honestly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was. I watched this as soon as I started hearing those notes, I was like, "Oh, Glynis, good job." I feel like we were going to get one of these like old-fashioned kind of singers moving through. And
the thing is, Glynis has the potential, has an amazing voice, and she never misses a note. So yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on Christina? It's weird. Like she performed first and kind of just was left in the shuffle. Any final words?
Nope. I'm good.
All right, let us move on to Da Republic. They are our only high energy, like hip hop kind of dance troupe remaining. They have this they have a lead girl who's kind of always like the spokesman. She dyed her hair and she kind of like faded into the background. I feel like usually during the performances the camera kind of follows her, but since her hair was like a different color, it was harder because, but for this performance, they actually get buzzed by, I think it was Simon, right?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching this performance, and the moment that they started doing like the Anaconda song by Nicki Minaj, I was like, I would have, like, what did you think?
Here's my thing. I think the buzzing was totally unnecessary. Because they needed the judges safe last time. So they would have gone home regardless. So I feel like it was just kind of like kicking them while they were down because they weren't going through. We could agree on that, right?
Yeah, they were a fodder act, like.
Yeah, so I'm actually a little bit annoyed that they were buzzed. I mean, I knew they weren't going to make it through, and it wasn't a great performance. But why kick someone while they're down? If you're already going to go home, there's no reason. You could be lukewarm. You don't need to be actively hating on them.
It's to make sure. It's to be perfectly sure. Simon wants to be perfectly sure.
I think a subtle thing like we did for Noah would have been more than sufficient.
Also I feel like this is another act that kind of suffered because I feel like the singers, they didn't probably choose their songs. And I feel like once it became to like the, oh my God, look at her butt. Like that's what we're doing for this performance. Like that's not gonna move you forward. They were shoved into the joke area. Like any possibility they had of moving forward, like ended at their song choices. This was an act that was doomed before they even performed, which is a shame. They seem like nice people. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah.
Final thoughts there. They don't make it through, which was pretty obvious. I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel bad for them. They kind of got a little bit the harsh end of Simon's whacking stick.
Okay, let's go.
Let's move on to
my depressing story.
Let's move on to Noah Guthrie, one of the few acts that I had a little bit of what's the word, like rooting for or caring, like was like rooting for.
Okay.
He is our.
So can I talk about this one?
Let me just say he's a singer from Glee. He is performing tonight. I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, also made popular by Whitney Houston. All right, go ahead, Eric.
Okay. So the premise of this was a masterful buzzing. And it really bugs me that it happened because Noah was my favorite act of the night. Oh, before the night happened. So the premise of the intro made it so that song choice was the thing that was all hitching on, right? And so the second I heard the first two words of that song, and I recognized what song it was and what arrangement it was, I realized, oh, he's getting the Kevin Davey White. And so Kevin Davey White literally did this exact same performance, the same song, the same arrangement, same choices last year on X Factor, and got got basically the same reaction Noah did from Simon. So Noah sounded perfect on this, but I was worried from the first word that Simon was going to hate it because he hated it last year. And I was right. And additionally, Mel hated it too. So Noah was a dead man walking, basically. And I don't think it was his choice at this point because it was the same song and the same arrangement.
I wrote down in my notes, bust. Like this is another case. Like I feel like I've touched on this before. The producers probably came up to Noah and they're like, "Hey Noah," they walk on over. They're like, "Hey Noah, we got a song for you." And Noah's like, "Oh, I was thinking of actually doing an original or something." And they're like, "No, we had a great idea." Noah, listen, we have a great idea. It's "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. If you perform this, Simon is going to love it. And Eric and poor Noah's like, actually still, and they're like, "You're going to do this song." And Noah's like, okay. Like he gets immersed into the song. And if I'm Noah, I can't sing. But if I have Noah's voice and I'm given this song and this is the path I've been put on, this might have been like the arrangement I would have, because to be given that song, what do you do with it? Like Noah is not like a big belter.
He was given the arrangement as well, because again, it was the same arrangement they did on X Factor.
Like this was just bust. This is like slash, like everything of his run, like from the intro package talking about all about making the correct song choices. Like I just felt so bad for him, but like this was just it was dead on arrival. Like as soon as he started singing, I was like,
the thing is, I love the vocal and I really love the performance. But it didn't matter that I loved it because I knew if it's Simon was going to bust him.
I can already hear like them saying like, "No, Simon's gonna love it. Like if you do it like this, it'll be interesting." And poor Noah's like a lamb to the slaughter. Like okay,
yeah.
At that point, what are you gonna do? Like, it's just something I kind of really strongly dislike about America's Got Talent. Like
honestly,
I've raged on this in the past, and it's just...
honestly, I'm mad about it too. I mean, this is the side of X Factor and America's Got Talent that I really, really hate. But
I would predict that if the contestants had their own like free choice within reason, like I can imagine like a list of songs. I feel like every single performance probably would have been different, right?
Not everyone.
All right. Well, that's the end of Noah's run this season. Do you have any
come in first or second?
I thought he was going to be in the early rounds. I thought the Glee audience would come out more to vote, but not so much.
Nope.
Eric. All right. Keep it going.
Let's talk about Daniel Emmett.
Let's talk about our only opera singer in this season. I feel like he was the only opera singer since like top 36, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
So he's performing somewhere from, I believe it was, I'm not that really good with my Broadway shows. I think it was West Side Story.
I don't know. Don't think so.
That is really awkward. No, it is from West Side Story. It is West Side Story. He goes pretty big with this song. What did you think about it?
Here's the thing. The song could be done absolutely spectacularly.
Candace Glover.
I was about to say, watch Candace Glover's version if you don't believe me. Daniel did fine, I guess. But I didn't think it was good enough to advance. And then he did. So, okay then.
Me too. I mean, I watched it. It was like, it sounded good, but it didn't move me. Like he sang, it sounded nice, but I wasn't he's not someone I would get excited about. Like he's not someone like I could like feel like, oh, Daniel, I can't wait to see you perform. Like I was just like, okay, it's good.
Yeah.
But like I feel like we're missing something here. Like there's something like a little bit, I don't know if it's because the producers aren't talking too much about his story, but I feel like
it's not a story. I think it's the fact that his voice is good, but it's not spectacular.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's definitely a talented person, but there's just, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he actually, of all the acts we've talked about so far, he is the only one so far to advance.
Barely,
he gets
but
through.
he did advance.
He gets through on the judges' pick. It's between him and We3, who we'll talk about a little later. And I'm just going to say it, Eric. 10th place?
9 for 10th. I'm not going to 10th.
I don't think he doesn't crack top 5, does he?
Hell no, he doesn't crack top 5.
Yeah, he is lucky to still be in like the top 10. I feel
100%.
like his journey is going to be ending pretty safely, like at a certain point.
Hopefully they'll let him down easy. They don't need to bus him. They don't need to. He's been saved every round. They can just let him down gently.
You never know, Simon. He's got to pull out his whipping stick every now and then. There's a bill to pay. Someone's going to get it.
Okay, let's go.
So yeah.
Let's talk about choirs, shall we?
Let's talk a bit about Angel City Chorale. They are the choir. They do this performance. I don't remember what song it was. Do you know what song it was that they did?
No.
Well, they do this performance, and they make a pretty bold decision to not have any solo singers, which when I was watching that, I was thinking, not sure if that's a smart idea. What did you think about it?
What did you say? Kind of glitched out there?
That they didn't have any solo singers. They kind of
they never had, though.
Did they? I feel like in the...
They might have had like one part where someone would sing a little bit, but there was no lead singers, ever.
What did you think about this performance?
I liked the fact that they did a tribute to 9/11, but I still strongly believe a choir like this needs lead singers, and that they weren't nearly good enough for a final. So
it's so funny. I love to poke fun at this because Simon Cowell is like, you might be the best choir we've ever had,
and they are so not.
And they didn't make the finale. Like I'd be like, yo, Simon, if we're calling them the best choirs ever, they better be top like 3 or something. Like you can't just throw that title out for people who aren't like. It'd be like if I was watching Daniel and I said, you're the best choir singer I've ever seen. Like you're lying to me. You're lying to me.
Well, it's a lie because they weren't even the best choir this season, let alone this year.
You thought the kids were better?
I thought the kids were way better.
Yeah. I don't know.
The kids at least had a couple of lead singers that were really good.
The kids like had some people that were like had the kids. It's weird because these two choirs, I feel like the kids had more personality.
Totally.
Which is like these people, the story is all about how they all come from different walks of life, and yet I feel like the children had like more heart to it, which is it's kind of like the opposite of what you would think it would be.
Yeah.
Like you'd think, oh, it's kids, but it's kind of like the kids had a little bit more. I don't know. It's just what I'm feeling. For their performance, I thought they had a shot to advance. I feel like once I heard who were the bottom 3, like who needed like the
I thought
saves,
they were going through as well, actually.
I was pretty surprised they didn't go through. But what did you think? Where did they go wrong in your opinion?
Not being a great choir.
Eric, Simon said they're the best choir America's Got Talent has ever seen. Tyra Banks is calling this the best season ever.
Simon's also said lots of other stupid things in the past.
Let's move on, right?
Yeah,
let's move on. This is actually the next act is someone who I have the most notes to talk about, but which is funny.
I have 7 words.
Let's talk about Aaron Crow, who, you know, I'm not even sure. Is he like a magician? Is he like a personality? He does this act where Howie Mandel is hidden in one of 4 boxes. The judges kind of pick like rocks to say which box he's going to cut. And then Howie's okay. What did you think of this performance?
I wrote these 7 words. The same trick again, question mark, really, question mark, this sucked, period. Now you can talk about it. I'm good.
You kind of hit the main point I wanted to touch on. Was this the exact same act as like last time? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
And I raged on this act last time. Like, this is the exact like. So many acts do the same thing where there's 4 boxes and one of them has something bad, and we gotta hope that the judges always pick. Like every time I see this, the more fake it is to me because they never pick wrong. Like I just want one time, hopefully when no one's like really getting hurt.
Last time is when it happened.
I mean, it's just so fake. Like it's so obviously like that he's manipulating it. I don't know. Also, another point, super long. This went. How long did this go? I don't even know.
Last week it was like 7 or 8 minutes.
Let me just check. I think it was like 5 minutes, the entire thing.
A little bit of an improvement, I guess.
I feel like this entire, like, it's just, I just don't get how he's here. Like, how did
he's not anymore, thank God. But
how did he make like the top 10? I don't even know. Like, the only thing that I really like about Aaron Crow is in his intro package, he's always like featured in a haunted house, which always looks cool. Like the haunted house, it looks like I'm expecting Luigi's Mansion to be going through, like Luigi, like the Ghostbuster.
3. Side note, yay! Let's move on.
I just don't understand. Like people though go crazy about him. Like there are a lot of people.
They don't.
Some people
they did, and then he destroyed that over the past 2 rounds.
I just wrote my notes clearly rigged. I never want to see one of these like pick from 4 boxes. He's got to have other
Even
tricks.
Piff couldn't do it. Even Piff couldn't make that trick work.
Yes, Piff did it. That guy with the staple gun, like, I'm just so done with this trick. Like I've seen it so many times. It's obvious that you're doing something, so we don't pick the certain one where something is in. I'm raging a little bit.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's.
Aaron Crow does not make it also. We move on to Trailer Nasty. It is Vicky Barbalek. Eric, you digging Trailer Nasty?
Nope. Sorry.
What did you think?
Here's the thing. She's really likable still. I still didn't laugh. I smiled a bit, maybe once or twice. She's not funny enough for the final. I'm sorry. The jokes just aren't good enough. I don't think she was funny enough for this round. And then the crazy part is she gets more votes than Gladys. How is that possible?
The thing is, I'll say, like, she seems, first of all, like a lovely woman. Like, she seems like super chill. Totally. Like, I feel like if she was on tour with America's Got Talent and was like signing autographs afterwards, like she would be the people that the person that would have like everyone would be like so into talking to her. I feel like she has a lot of stories. She seems like an interesting person. And I just want to say that because now I'm going to talk about her performance. Because for me, this, I didn't laugh. Like, she's a comedian, but I didn't find her jokes funny. Like, she seems like she's got to have more material. It's got to be better than this. And she makes our top 3, Eric. She's in the top 3. And I don't understand how did she make top 3, Eric? Give me some closure. What happened here?
If you're asking me to explain what happened, I can't because I don't know what happened either. I mean, here's the thing. I'm laughing harder talking about her now than I was laughing during her performance. That's a problem.
Yeah, there's actually one segment where I think she invites Simon to go get a Grand Slam from Denny's. Have you ever tried a Grand Slam, Eric?
I have not.
I have no idea either, but I mean,
Denny's.
I mean, like Vicky. I don't know. I don't want to rage on like trash the lady. She seems like so nice, like a nice lady. I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
She made top 10.
Now some people laughed. That's good.
Now here's the question, Eric. Did she make top 5?
I wouldn't have said she made top 20. So who knows?
I'm amazed she's even in this round. Like I would have probably like imagined her being cut last round.
Same here.
But it's just so funny that she made it. I don't know. Let's move on. Next up we have We Three. They are a family band. They are the very Christian band. They do a lot of original musics. I kind of admire them because they do stick to their guns of doing original songs. I feel like in the past, this might have been a band I would have said go for a cover this time. I don't know. But what did you think about their original this round, Eric?
Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. And with only 5 acts going through, plus another classic EGT busing courtesy of Simon. They were goners.
Is it just me? I was watching this. Did they all of a sudden get matching tattoos? Like, did you notice that?
Did they get tattoos?
They all had tattoos on their arms, which I didn't think I saw in the past, which was just something I noticed.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it was tattoos or maybe one of them doesn't have it, but I kind of like their original song. It wasn't great. I mean, this was kind of a messy round. I kind of still imagine them like getting into the finale.
I would have if the judges were positive.
Yeah, the judges they gave them a lot of criticism, particularly Simon, who really didn't like the song. But I wrote down in my notes, I'm pretty sure they're still going to make it because this episode sucks.
Nope. I mean, close, but nope.
Yeah, honestly, they are one of the acts cut. I maybe would have put them in for Daniel on of the two of them. Eric, if we are the deciding votes and we each get to pick between we three and Daniel, who are you picking?
I wouldn't have picked either of them.
You have to.
Top 9.
You have to pick between the two.
Do I?
Yeah.
I would have picked Daniel. No, actually, I would have picked Noah. But if I couldn't pick Noah,
no, it's between. I wanted to we three. I think they're cool.
Okay.
Only 3 more acts to go.
Let's go through them.
I gotta tell you, like at this point in the episode, I was like looking at my watch, like, okay, this is getting a little bit rough. But finally, I feel like the final 3 acts kind of had nothing else that kept me engaged in watching the television show. Like at this point, this was, I feel, where the episode kind of went zoop. Like it kind of hit that one peak. First off, starting it was Glennis Grace. She is a singer, and she's performing This Woman's Work by Kate Bush. What did you think, Eric?
I loved it. Great song choice. Glennis can really, really sing. This was honestly my favorite performance of the night. And then she needed the save. So I literally wrote WTF. We were messaging each other on Twitter, like, WTF. Glennis needs the save? How is that possible?
I thought Glennis was the best of the night.
Me too.
I thought she killed it. Like, first of all, she absolutely, like, as soon as she was done singing, I was like, okay, Christina's going home. And second, I was like, this is really good. Like, this is a really good performance. I wrote down in my notes, I mean, she doesn't feel like a contestant on the show. She just seems like a normal woman who just, like, strolled onto the stage, sang beautifully, and is, like, going to go back to her normal life afterwards. Like, I mean that in the best way, because she seems like so, like, genuine. Normal, like genuine. Like, she doesn't feel like fake. It doesn't seem like she's putting anything on. She's like, all right, I'm going to sing. If I do well, great. If I don't, okay, whichever. Like, she just seems really like just a chill person. And I really liked her. Like, I really like this performance. But she is in the bottom 3 to move forward. She does get through. She does get through on the Duncan save, the final Duncan save of the season. I'll be honest, like, after this performance, I was like, maybe she has a chance of cracking top 5. And then after the results came in, I was like, okay, where do you think she falls in on the rankings now of our top 10?
Right around 6 or 7.
Yeah, I feel like maybe she possibly cracks top 5, but if not, I think she gets 6th or 7th. I think that's a good point, which is a shame because I think she is really good.
Agreed.
Any final notes? Ready to keep it going?
Let's talk about Brian King Joseph.
Yes. So I will be honest. My top 2 of the night, Glennis, Brian King Joseph. He is coming on stage. He performs. I have no idea what song it was. Do you know what song it was?
No, I don't.
He does this violin performance. He starts off in the audience and he walks to the stage. As he walks, he takes the violin, starts playing it like a guitar, which I've only seen that once before in my life, which was on American Idol, and it was from a joke act. I don't know if you remember, Eric. Do you? It was Coldplay. It was a joke act where someone was playing like the violin as a guitar, but Brian King Joseph did it a lot better. Step ups for me for this performance was no background contortion weirdo stuff going on. It was just Brian. He did a really good job. What did you think?
I think he's a star, honestly. I don't think he can win, but I think he could easily crack the top 5.
I'm going to go one further. I think he's top 3. Honestly, this was The one thing which I've touched on in the past with Brian King Joseph is his story. Just knowing he's in pain while he's doing it just does kind of make it a little bit harder to watch. Like when Lindsay Sterling, ironically enough, was on Dancing with the Stars, she did a performance and she talked about how she was actively in pain during the performance. And it's just knowing that while she dances, like it makes it a little bit harder for me. But I don't think that the widespread audience is going to like really care about that fact. That's just me kind of nitpicking. But he if he's in pain, he doesn't show it. He wears like a bright smile when he's performing. He just seems like he's having a blast. I think he could win, honestly.
I don't, but I think he's got a shot.
All right.
Top 5, at least.
My opinion, those were the top 2. And ready to talk about the big one?
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about our final act of the night. It is Courtney Hadwin. She is our singer. I don't know what kind of singer.
She's our chosen one.
She is TCO. She is the chosen one. In her intro package, the judges. This was a lot. Reminded me a bit of Grace Vanderwall when she was on the show. Like they did the intro package of people like on YouTube either reacting or like playing her song. And she comes out on stage and she does Born to Be Wild. And I didn't like it. Did you, Eric?
I was about to say I loved it for the first about 60 to 70%, like I said earlier. And then the last 30% happened. And it was so off that I went from I loved it to eh. And I no longer think she's a shoo-in to win after this, honestly.
I really didn't like this performance.
I didn't hate it. I didn't actively hate it.
I could tell,
but I could say I actively hated the last 10 to 20 seconds of it.
For me, I couldn't tell what the song was that she was singing it. Like she was singing it so weird, and about like 30 seconds in, she just like screams, like just actively like takes her mic and screams. Like there's no. I just felt like a little girl was screaming at me, and I don't like being screamed at. The one thing I was thinking while I was watching this is I did have a really good song for her, like that I really wanted her to perform, which I know she never will. What I think it's by James Brown. It's like I Feel Good. Do you know that song? James Brown? Like that's a good song for her, in my opinion. But for me, this was not pleasant to watch or listen to. I mean, she is the chosen one, and this was like, in my opinion, a stumble. And as soon as she started getting some critiques, I imagine like all the way in the back of the audience, like Shin Lim and Zucchero, their ears just perked up, and they're like, "Oh my God, is it happening? It's happening!" I thought she was like a shoo-in to win. Now I don't think so. I thought she had a 90% chance of winning. Now I'm gonna put it down at 50. But
50?
Yeah, but she did still.
I'll go one better. I'll put it at 30.
I'm not gonna put it that far. I do think she still has a huge fan base.
Totally, but
all right. But so if you're her judge, what do you think should she do for the last round to maybe get her final votes in?
Something completely different, honestly.
Imagine her coming out on stage and like taking a banjo and start playing like a bluegrass song.
Not like that. Not like that stuff different. Like strip a song back at first, do something low energy a bit, maybe kick it up to high energy for the last half, but don't do the whole full-throated thing the entire way through.
What she needs is an extra arm, and she's gonna do a ukulele and also have a puppet.
So she needs 2 extra arms.
She'll need 2 extra arms. She'll be like one of those like gods or whatever they are, and she'll be like playing "I Don't Know My," and the puppet's gonna. I'm being a little mean.
Okay.
But her whole story, I feel, is revolving around this whole narrative that she's this little nervous girl who kind of comes alive on stage.
Bullshit.
I'm gonna call bullshit too. I mean, I don't. She's like. I feel like this is a story that you could attach to absolutely any singer. Every singer has nerves. I feel.
Yeah, totally.
With few exceptions.
I'm saying the nerves aren't debilitating.
You could have literally copied her story, put it on Noah, Put it on Christina. Put it on this. This is a story that like
I've seen the exact story on other X Factor acts before, but
I don't know.
Story. Don't have any reason to have that story.
I feel like this was, in my opinion, this is the night when this became a competition. Originally, this was Courtney's going to win, and now it's Courtney has to fight for it, which is, in my opinion, a much more interesting show to watch. I feel like having, if she still wins, well, if she still wins, I don't know. I just feel like it's a competition again. Like I feel like now it's not as predictable as it might have been, but I mean that's our show. Do you have any other things you kind of want to touch on, Eric?
I kind of want to go over right now, since we're not going to do a show before the finale ends. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think should win? Let's do that.
All right, it's a good thing. So, in my opinion, I feel there are 5 people who could win. There's, in my opinion, a clear top 5. So, in my opinion, the top 5 is Brian King Joseph. I keep getting his name confused. Brian King Joseph, Courtney Hadwin. These are people who I feel can win and should win. I still think Courtney maybe should win of the top 10. So Brian, Courtney, Michael Ketterer. I feel like it's not smart to completely disregard him. I do think he still has a shot. Zucchero and Shin Lim. And of those 5, Shin Lim's going to win. That's my prediction.
Shin Lim's going to win?
Yeah, what's yours?
Okay, so should win. I said Shin Lim should win from day one. I'm sticking by that. And if he isn't in the top 2, I'll be filming a reaction video just like you did for Maddie on Idol.
Maddie.
And so I'm hoping Shin Lim wins. But who do I think is going to win? I still think it's going to be Courtney or Zucchero. And there would be nothing better for me than to be totally wrong and Shin Lim wins this.
I don't know if Zucchero is going to win. I feel like every single season there's someone that like Zucchero. There's Diavolo, there's Acro Army. They always come up short. I feel like they are top 3. I feel like, in my opinion, of those top 5, everyone else I feel like is going to be bottom 5. I feel like that is a pretty solid top 5. The ones
I would tend to agree. I think they're very clear top 5.
I feel like once we have that top 5 in 5th place, Michael, then Zucchero, then Brian King Joseph, Courtney Hadwin, and Shin Lim.
I'd be happy with that, but it's not going to happen.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think Courtney's in the top 2.
I said Courtney's in the top 2.
I know, and I think Shin Lim's in the top 3. And I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
The thing is, I've noticed with America's Got Talent, like, it's always a single person who wins. Like, right? It's Kenichi, it's Matt Franco, it's Darcy, it's always the one person. So I feel like it's gonna be another solo person, is all I can really say.
I would think so, but we'll see what happens.
Any final thoughts? Any other things you kind of want to go over before we get to the wrap up?
No. I'm hoping Shin Lim wins because he totally deserves to. I'll be voting for him regardless of what he does. But
one final thing. Of the people who were the bottom 5 that we mentioned, who do you think has the best chance possibly to make it into the top 5 and knock someone out?
So who is that out of?
You got Vicky, you got Daniel, you got Vicky, Daniel, Samuel, who else? Who are we missing? Glennis. You got Daniel, Glennis, Samuel, Vicky. Oh, Duo Transcend.
Of those 5, I think Glennis has a shot of sneaking into the top 5 out of all of them.
Yep. Otherwise, I guess we're gonna wrap this up, Eric. Shall we?
Let's do that.
All right. So my name is Adam Samuel. You could find me on Twitter at AdamSoapbox. I have my 2 websites, AdamSoapbox.com, AdamsTVblog.com. Where can we find you, Eric?
EricAscher.com, Eric_Ascher on Twitter. And I'm going to Seattle tour on Sunday, so we'll have some videos up from that on YouTube on Sunday night, Monday morning. So that channel should be linked to from my website. So just go to ericascher.com and you'll find my YouTube page. So awesome videos of Chris, Katie, and Cade.
Are you planning to meet the contestants after the show?
That is the goal.
Tell Katie I say hi.
That is the goal.
Invite her back for another podcast. We would love
That
to.
is the goal.
We would love to have her, or any of them. If you see any of them and they're like, "Hey, want to be on a podcast?" It's kind of crazy. Like America's Got Talent is coming to an end next week, and then we're going to be doing some episodes. We have an episode plan where we're going to be talking about the tour together, and after that, we got to kind of find something to fill in. We're floating a few ideas between the two of us of what we're going to be covering. It's the March to Idol at this point, right?
March America's Got Talent, the Champions, more specifically.
When is America's Got Talent, the Champions?
January, February, until Idol starts.
Ooh, how long is it going to be? Like a
full, like a 4 or 5 week thing, I think.
That's it?
Maybe 6 weeks at most.
So, like, are they going to have like a top 36? Like, that's going to be what we're going to start with.
I don't know the format at all because it's a totally new format.
What do you think? What would you like the format to be?
We can talk about that later. Actually, we can save that for another episode. We
will save that for another episode. Otherwise, this was fun. Season's been a little bit rough, but thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week. Till then.
You win. Bye.